A 250-pound bodybuilder picked a fight with me to impress a girl, unaware I had a black belt in Taekwondo. At 5'7" and 145 pounds, I wasn't exactly the most intimidating guy. People in bars always singled me out when they wanted to look tough in front of women. So when I saw that 6'2" bodybuilder marching toward where I was talking to a beautiful brunette, I knew how this would end. He wedged himself between us, his massive frame blocking me completely. He didn't even look at me, just turned his broad back as if I were a piece of furniture. "Let me buy you a real drink, beautiful," he said, calling the bartender over. "No, this crap this guy is boring you with." She glanced at me over his shoulder, clearly uncomfortable. "Actually, we were alone." He cut her off. "Trust me," he said, placing a protective hand on the bar in front of her, creating a wall. "You need someone who can really take care of you." He ordered her a martini without asking and finally acknowledged my existence with a disdainful look. "You can go now, buddy." When I didn't move, he shifted his weight, using his size to push me lower against the bar. The edge dug into my ribs, and yet I remained in place, sipping my beer. By this point, he expected me to have already fled, and he turned to me fully for the first time, sizing me up and down with theatrical disgust, and asked if I was deaf or something. When I calmly told him I was just finishing my drink, his hand shot out and slapped my glasses off my face. They clattered onto the bar, and everything went blurry. He joked about me not being able to see as high as he was, and said to the girl, maybe that's why he didn't get the hint. I remained still, breathing normally. 10 years of training had taught me the most important lesson. Real fighters don't fight in bars. Too many risks, too much to lose. My instructor certification, my gym membership, potential lawsuits, all lost because of a drunken idiot. I reached for my glasses with measured movements. He pushed them away with a finger, telling me to leave them there. I walked around him to put them away, keeping everything neutral, and when I sat back down with my glasses, he turned to the entire bar and loudly announced that we had a situation with a weird guy. His voice boomed over the music as he pointed at me with his beer bottle, claiming I'd been bothering that girl for an hour. The brunette tried to protest, but he cut her off, placing a possessive hand on her shoulder that made her flinch, and told everyone not to worry that he had everything under control. His friends, at a table in the corner, started laughing and shouting. Someone asked if I was in elementary school. He smiled and turned to the bartender, suggesting my ID should be checked again because I looked about 12 years old. The brunette jerked away from his hand, but he continued speaking over her, telling her she didn't need to be polite anymore. Half the bar was watching now, some people limping, giving me suspicious looks. My reputation in this place, where I'd been a regular for 2 years, was being destroyed in real time. Then he decided to demonstrate my weakness and suddenly grabbed my wrist, raising it for the bar to see while comparing it to the arms of his 12-year-old nephew. I didn't resist, keeping my breathing steady as he tightened his grip, his thumb pressing against the pressure point. He pulled me off the stool effortlessly, spinning me around to show the girl what would happen if real danger appeared. Then he pushed me back against the bar, not hard enough to be considered assault, but enough to prove his point. The corner of the bar dug into my spine, and he stood there waiting, telling me to push him back to show her I was a real man. I remained relaxed, my hands at my sides, no aggressive posture, nothing that could justify what he wanted to do. His face darkened at my lack of reaction. He called me pathetic. He turned to the girl, explaining that this was why she needed someone like him around and painting scenarios of what could happen to me just standing there, doing nothing if he were truly dangerous. The brunette stood up and said she was leaving. He grabbed her wrist immediately, insisting he would walk her to her car because the streets weren't safe. Her voice was firm, but I could hear the fear underneath as she told him to let go. He tightened his grip a little, still smiling, saying he was only trying to help. She tried to pull away, but he firmly assured her and told her to relax, that he was just being a gentleman. His grip tightened enough to make her gasp. She was getting genuinely scared now. The panic in her voice as she pushed at his chest with her free hand was when something shifted in his eyes, his drunken bravado turning into something uglier, and he pulled her against him with real force, dismissing her protest as drama. She screamed, twisting hard to free herself. He grabbed her other wrist as well, holding both as he looked at me with cruel satisfaction and made his final observation about what happens when weak little boys can't protect anyone. Watch the full story by clicking the video below.